That's right, folks. Magnetic filters once again. Hopefully, this time, it won't end in a mild tragedy. That's right, folks. We're looking at more magnetic filters. If you followed the channel for any amount of time, folks, you probably remember the saga that I encountered with some other magnetic filters from different companies, which is still ongoing, by the way. I just got another email from an ex-employee, again, one of their many ex-employees, offering some more information. So who knows, we may pick that back up, but I swore that I wouldn't. I digress. So yeah, today we're looking at some different magnetic filters, some excellent magnetic filters, by the way. These are from Kent Faith, that is KNF Concept. These are their XL magnetic filter kit, the GND and the ND magnetic filter kit. Now there's a few of these that you can get. This is just the one that comes with the ND8, the ND64, and the ND1000. Now if you're not familiar with that terminology, the ND8 is essentially about a 3-stop filter. The ND64 is about a 6-stop filter, with the ND1000 being about a 10-stop filter. Very dark. Oh, and there's also the GND is in there too, a circular GND. We'll talk about that more in just a second. So let's get down to it. When I say magnetic filters, folks, that is exactly what I mean. These circular filters are indeed magnetic. That is ferrous magnetic. That means they stick to each other and they will stick to anything else that is magnetic. The case is phenomenal. It's got a little magnetic closure, ironically. A little accordion fan design. You put your filters in there, zip it up, and flip the case, and very nice. You can get the case on its own, believe it or not. I'm thinking about actually buying another one. As for the filters themselves, the kit goes anywhere from 37mm filter size to 95mm filter size. That is a massive filter. You'll see this done again and again throughout this review, folks, the application of these filters, but I'm going to show you here just to start off. Again, 58mm, I have 77mm filters, so that means I will have to be using a step-up ring in addition to the actual adapter ring for the filters. And that's going to go on first. This is a KNF Concept 58 to 77mm step-up adapter that lets you use bigger filters on smaller barreled lenses. That just screws on as such. Now, I know somebody in the comments is going to say this, folks, about how this adds even more distance from the filter, between the filter and the lens. That's true, but honestly, it's negligible, and I haven't seen it adding any more vignetting. Now, however, that may be because I'm using the much bigger filters. I don't know, but just know I am aware of that. Now, if you have the filters that are made for your particular filter thread size, if I had 58mm filters, I wouldn't have to use the step-up ring. At any rate, step-up ring is on. This is your magnetic adapter ring. Very simple. Looks just like a circular filter without an element. And that will thread on as such. I believe these are aluminum. They're very smooth, at least thus far. And that is on there really well. So that is a platform that is going to let you use the magnetic filters. So these have an aluminum body, which I'm assuming has some type of ferrous material, either magnets or some type of steel or iron in there, that is going to attract as such to the adapter ring. And that's the big selling point for these magnetic filters. You don't have to screw them on and off. They don't have to be threaded onto your lens. They just snap on as such. Very easy. And they are on there. Now, just a little bit of technical information about your magnetic filters here, folks. Officially, they are called the Kent Faith Magnetic Adapter Ring 5-in-1 Quick Swap Filter Nano-Xcel series. Quite the mouthful. And according to the Kent Faith website here, the glass, the element, is imported ACG high definition premium optical glass, double-sided multi-coated, and they're calling their multi-coat 28-layer multi-coating. Now, anytime you have a coating on a lens element or a lens filter, that is just referring to a chemical coating that is applied to one or both sides of the lens or filter element. That cuts down on glare, cuts down on chromatic aberrations, and supposedly makes the filter itself, the element of the filter itself, less prone to scratches, smudges, that kind of thing. Now, exactly what that 28 layers actually consists of, I don't know. Now, like I said, folks, I've used these for quite a while now, probably about 2 months now, if I'm remembering it correctly, and I've had zero problems with them. The outside, that is the actual housing of the filter, it's not exactly stippled, but it has a nice little rough texture to that. I do wish it was more serrated. I could see that being a little hard to grab sometimes, but you have to keep in mind as well, you're not actually threading these, you're pulling these. So it's not a circular motion where your hands are going to be slipping that much. So when I really think about it, I don't think it really needs that much more grip, but it may just be me. And these are super slim, guys. I'm sure it depends on the size of that is the diameter of the filter, but it's saying on Kent Faith website that these go anywhere from 1.9 millimeter to 3.3 millimeters thick. That is very thin, to be honest with you. They're very lightweight. Again, that comes from being aluminum. Now, personally, completely just me, guys, I prefer brass for my filter materials, at least the circular filter housing materials, because brass is something called non-galling. I'm not here to give you a lesson on filters themselves, but the brass is less prone to get stuck to itself, less prone to stick to itself if you get the threads misthreaded or anything like that. Again, very much a personal thing, folks, and 90% of filters you will see today are going to be made of aluminum. Now, Kent Faith claims that these filters do not vignette down to 16 millimeter focal length. Folks, I've got rid of virtually all of my wide angle lenses except for the 14 millimeter Rokinon here. The widest lens I have is that 50 millimeter, and that's what I tested it on. So folks, if you're using those wider angle lenses, I'm sorry, I'm not going to have much information for you in terms of those shorter focal lengths. Now, of course, folks, this is a review. I do have a couple of samples for you to look at. I know at least one nice sample of the image quality you can expect from these filters, but I got to thinking, is there a better, more efficient way for me to demonstrate these filters to you more or less in real time while you're watching this video? And honestly, I think it's going to work out better the way I'm probably about to do it, because I know a lot of you folks are going to be using these filters for your cinematography, for your videography, and I think it'll be a nice little real-time bench test. I'm going to switch over to the main camera here, the Sony a7R Mark III, start some live recording of the video, and just add the ND8 filter, followed by the ND64, followed by the ND1000, followed by the GND filter, then maybe stack them all together. We'll see. Apologize for any road noise, folks, but I want to open up the window so we're not shooting through the glass. There we go. So as of right now, we have our adapter ring with the step-up ring on there. I'm putting on the ND8 filter. As such, I have everything on auto white balance. So that's a 3-stop filter. I'm going to increase our ISO 3 stops to hopefully balance out the exposure. Now, again, that is the ND8 magnetic filter. That's on. Watch me throw this thing out the window. That is off. And that's on again. I am at auto white balance. I know some people, no matter what I do, are going to give me grief about using auto white balance here instead of using a gray card or a white card or setting the Kelvin. But folks, all intents and purposes, we're just going to keep using the auto white balance. So that is the ND8. Once again, let's just see on, off. There we go. Going to switch now to the ND64 filter. That is a 6-stop filter. So that is with the filter off, filter on. Of course, going to increase the ISO again to compensate. There we go. So that is on, ND64 filter. That is off, and that is on. Does a great job. I don't see any vignetting so far, not really to my eye, at least on the LCD screen of the camera. We'll talk about all that after I review the footage. So again, ND64 XL magnetic filter on, filter off. Let's move on to the ND1000. Now the ND1000 is the darkest filter in my kit. That's a 10-stop filter. As you can see, that's really dark. So there it is with it off. Throw the 10-stop on. Increase our ISO. I'm probably going to go ahead and just down that aperture to give us a little bit easier view. There we go. Now, again, very sharp, at least to my eyes. No vignetting is, as of yet, that's pretty good. So that's an ND1000 on, ND1000 off, complete whiteout. Just so you know, that's at ISO 10,000 1/40th of a second 7:1 aperture. So that's ND 1000 on, ND 1000 off. And just for giggles, folks, this one is our graduated ND filter. Can't really see it too well. Get our exposure back down. This is our graduated ND filter, so it's a circular ND for landscapes and such. I'm going to throw that on there. It's a little hard to tell precisely the effect of that because the lens itself is so much narrower than the filter, but that does work. Let me put that on there just a tad. Sorry again for the road noise, guys. Get our exposure back down. Oh yeah, you can definitely see the gradation up top. So I'm going to take our ND filter, GND filter off, kind of shift it around so you can see that gradation. Completely off. And that works pretty well. Just like a graduated ND filter that's, let's say, a square or a rectangle, except this is circular and it goes on and off really easy. On a shorter lens, a wider focal length lens, that would work really, really well, I think. So just for giggles, I'm going to stack up all these filters aside for the GND and just see what it looks like. So I did a few quick calculations. We're going to kind of guess at this exposure. Essentially, we're going to have 16 stops of light reduction here. So we're going to start out with, and I'm sure we'll have to tweak it a little bit, guys. I'm going to start out with our ND64, excuse me, our ND8 filter. So our 3-stop filter first, virtually no effect. We're going to go up to our ND64 next. This is stacking on top of the 8. So that is 3 stops plus 6 stops, so there's 9 stops. I'm going to start getting a little bit of information in, and I'm going to throw this big 10 stop on here. That's the ND 1000, and we should be able to at least see something. A little dark still. I think that's about as far as we can go. That's at 1.4, 12,800 ISO. That's at 16,000. 20,000 ISO, more or less balancing back out. You can see definitely some vignetting in the corners there, but we're at f1.4, folks, so a lot of that may just be inherent to the lens. Overall, that's not bad to have 3 filters stacked on top of well, for one, an adapter ring plus that step-up ring. So yeah, after we see this footage, honestly, you can probably tell better than I can at the moment, but that's not bad at all, not bad at all. All right, let's talk a little bit more about this. So folks, I have to say I am not only exceedingly satisfied with the overall build quality of these magnetic filters from Kent Faith, but also the optical quality, the quality of the pictures and the video that I've got from these in my tests. Now, the things that I don't like, that I wish that could possibly be improved, again, maybe a little more grip on the outside, but really, when you think about it, you're pulling these on and off, you're not threading them. So that just may be a personal thing. You can get a hold of them just fine as is, but a little more grip would be nice. The big thing, and so far the only thing that I've found, is that I wish they went on a little more flush each and every time. Like I said, maybe 4 out of 5 times it goes on there perfectly. Whether that's something that can be fixed, whether that's something just inherent in the design, I don't know. But call it what it is. The other magnetic filters from the other company that I've tested for quite a while, a few years ago, those went on no problem. So I know it can be done. I don't know exactly what to do to fix that, other than maybe there's a tolerance issue. It could be just the set that I have. But that is the only real issue that I've found with these. And folks, honestly, it's really not that much of an issue. Sort of a pet peeve of mine. Now, you can get this entire set, folks, just like I have it here, the ND8, the ND64, the ND 1000, plus that nifty little GND filter, all as a kit as I have it here. You can buy the filters themselves individually. You can get another kit, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the magnetic filters plus a circular polarizer and an ND 1000. So there's a lot of options here. You can get these on Kent Faith's website, and if you do decide to get them from Kent Faith's website, I do have a discount, a 20% discount code. It's just my name. It's Adam. So if you want to go to the site, put that code in, it'll get you 20% off of anything on their website. And of course, all that information is going to be down below as well. Something that I'm always curious about, if you have used these, if you have used Kent Faith's magnetic system, please let me know down in the comments. If you've used any of the other magnetic filter systems, I know, I don't even want to really mention them, but it was such a muddy water thing. If that Colorado company, if you have used those, if you ever got yours, I'd be curious to hear about that. I think Nisi makes some magnetic filters. I think Polar Pro actually makes some magnetic filters. So generally, if you've had any experiences with magnetic filters yourself, I'd be curious to hear your thoughts. Are they better than regular threaded filters? I don't know. Do they make things actually easier? Is it more of a convenience? Is it more of an inconvenience? So let me know down there in the comments. And folks, just a quick word, you probably noticed a sponsored video tag up top here. Kent Faith does not pay me to say this stuff. None of the manufacturers that I review products for pay me money to say the things that I say. All the reviews are honest. All the reviews are painfully honest sometimes. But just know that yes, I am keeping this filter set. They didn't give me any money to give a good review. I just think that they're good filters. Take a look down there too, folks, for the official Camera Jockey Clothiers polo and a few other things from Camera Jockey Clothiers. Weird and wild stuff designed by me for other photographers. It really goes a long way to keep all this nonsense rolling. A special thank you to Kent Faith, folks, for being so patient with me getting these reviews out. You are absolutely amazing. We go back a long time, and I always like working with you, Kent Faith, KNF. Keep it up. And especially, folks, thank you for being here. All my subscribers, all the channel members, if you're here for the first time, why not like and subscribe, share? It costs you nothing, but it means a whole lot to me. All right, guys, I'm gonna shut up, and of course, I still can end these videos. I've got where I do the gong a lot, though.